Give you guys a update on the manual trading system that I have been demonstrating and illustrating the past two webinars, Monday nights and this morning's webinar. We took a couple trades this morning, and I just want to go through charts. We just had the top of the 4-hour candle. New candle came out at 12 noon my time. So this is the time that you want to go through these charts and look for new setups. All right. Before I go with the charts, I just want to, and I probably should send this out in a written form, but just go over some terminology so we understand. And I kind of simplified the supply and demand zone terminology. From now on, I am going to do my best to call the red zones sell zones and the green buy zones. People get mixed up between the supply and demand, which one is which. So we're just going to call it a red sell zone and a green buy zone. And the three entries that I talked about this morning, we're going to give them some names. All right, the number one entry that we're looking for, and again, I'll point these out as we go through the charts, if there's any there. The number one entry, and this one hits 99.9% of the time for 50% of the move, is the, I call the new moon. And the new moon entry is a new supply or a new red or green zone paints within 3 to 6 candles, and it is coming from an opposite zone. That's very important. It's coming from an opposite zone. The second entry is called a step entry, and this is a new sell or buy zone that paints in the same direction as the previous one. So if it's in a trend, upward or downward trend, and these are very easy to spot, and I'll show you. That is called a step entry, and these are very good for adding additional positions if you desire. And the third entry, the third entry is the breakout, and this is a breakout of a buy or a green zone. In other words, it breaks all the way through, penetrates the zone, and it's a free-for-all, either up or down to the next zone. Again, the target for this is 50%. Okay, we want to keep 50% as our rule of thumb for all entry targets. 50% of the travel between the zones. And again, I'll point that out. All right. So I will do my best to remember these, and so we are constantly talking the same language. All right. Let's go in order here. This first one. All right, this first one is the Aussie CAD. Again, we have a brand new candle, top of a 4-hour candle, and I have here set up my horizontal lines for a breakout entry. All right, so if price breaks through all these buy zones and breaks through them all, there's a potential for a entry and target of, there's a 50%, about 57 pips. All right, that's not bad. And if it breaks south, this target's not as much, but again, you're looking at probably around 34 pips here. Now, if something happens in between here, like we get a fresh painting, a new moon, then we will obviously put our attention to that type of entry there. Okay, so we're waiting on that, and those are set up. Those may not. This may take a couple days for this to either come down or go up to those breakout points. In either case, we will. Hey, and by the way, we only want to have the pair buttons turned on for the pairs that we have it set up on. So the Aussie CAD will turn blue. Aussie Swiss, this is a little bit easier to see. These are breakouts. So a breakout to the north for about 31 pips, or a breakout to the south for about 23 pips. All right. Or unless we get a new moon entry here. All right. We'll go to the Aussie yen. And it's important to go ahead and I did go ahead and went through all the charts and got all my breakout lines horizontal. Remember these with I'm using the Aitg DeMark SUP DEM TS, and these things do have the casino SUP DEM on there because what they do, they paint solid colors when they first are painted, and only turn hollow when they are penetrated, as you can see right here. Okay, so it's just a quick reference. You can look at a supply or demand zone, or a buy or sell zone, and see if it's been penetrated at least once, or if it's still a solid color, has not been penetrated yet. And again, we're looking for a breakout to the north for about 51 pips, or a breakout to the south for about 98 pips. And whatever happens first, we will take gladly. All right, so that pair's turned on. We'll go through the Aussie NAS next. And again, lots of, and what we call the distance between zones, all right? We're going to call this the river, all right? These are rivers of pips. And of course, the broader the river, the more pips you'll pick up, all right? So that's a nice looking river there. So if we're going to call this a river, then we'll call these the river banks. Okay. This is not a good place for a breakout because you're going to come to this point right here. You're going to come. You could bounce up. It's only 18 pips, so we'll go ahead and move this sell breakout line down to the next buy zone. So if it breaks this buy zone, come on now. We'll trade it down to the next buy zone, or 50%, or 40 pips. Or unless we get a new. Now here's a good example. Let's go ahead and mark this out here. We missed this one. So we put our fib, our modified fib. Like I said, we modified it. We took out everything from 100% retracement out, and we're only using 100% to the zero. And we have 0, 25, 50, and then that 75, we relabeled that as 25. So you can play this either way. You don't have to be flipping it around. Excuse me. So again, we look at 2 to 3 candles. So let's say it disappeared on the third candle. Oh, for some reason, when you refresh the charts, this casino SUP DEM does not repaint. So you just got to go in there and just open it up and click OK just to refresh it, and then they paint. As long as you don't mess with the chart, by refreshing the chart anymore, these SUP DEMs, this Indy and the SUP DEM trading system stays as is. Oh, one other thing, I think I pointed it out in this morning's webinar, but it's important that you turn off auto draw trend lines. Otherwise, every time you get a new candle, your trend lines will go back to diagonals. All right, make a note of that. So you can see here, if we got in on the third candle that painted, you would have been within your 25%, and you went all the way up and you made 35 pips. Nice, quick, easy 35 pips. All right, so no really trade right here except for this breakout above. So we will turn that pair on and look into the future. Aussie US. All right, here's one. Now here's one that let's map this guy out. See if it's close, if it's within 25%. Oh, you can see it's outside the 25%. That's good for 40 pips. You could take it, but I'm gonna stick with my rule and stay within. Now, if I would have got this back here or here, we would have got 52 pips. Well, when it gets there. All right. Now, hey, again, if you listen to the past two webinars, you know I talked about not using stop losses. If you want to use a stop loss, you can create a stop loss on the opposite side of the zone that you entered on. All right, but I don't at this time use stop losses. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. I will put a stop loss on and manually trade it or trail it once my position gets into profit, and I'll lock some profit in. And I'll show that when we get to that point. All right, so nothing really here as far as we missed that new moon entry. We'll just move on from this one. We will not illuminate that because there's nothing really there at this time. The next one is the CAD Swiss, and I'll try to speed these up. I think you guys will get the hang of this real quickly here. Let's see. Here's an example right here of a step entry. Zoom out once. Okay, you see price came up from a buy zone. You'd see that if I zoomed out more. It came up and then it created a new moon entry. So you would get in here for the new moon. And again, we don't know what was here before because price, whatever zones were here, was penetrated and they disappeared. So we would get in this new moon and we would take it for whatever was the 50%, wherever that was. But then when a second sell zone painted, this is called a step entry. We would take, if we were still in this new moon entry, when the first step appeared, or this, we would take a second position and to the 50% of the original. All right. And then we have a third step or a second step that appeared. Again, we would take a third entry. So we would be in 3 entries here to the 50%. It's just a way of stacking your trades and getting more out of a single move down or up. All right, I think that's pretty clear. And right now, lots of a lot of buy orders right here. I'm sorry, a lot of sell orders stacked. So a lot of momentum for this to go down. It's kind of like, you know, a lot of buy and sell orders on each side here. So we're going to leave this alone and let those buy and sells fight their way out. And you really want to find an area where your river is really wide. Again, a wide river, more opportunity for some major pippage. All right, CAD yen. Looks like we missed a new moon entry here. Let's go ahead and move this breakout line up here. Of course, as you check your charts every 4 hours or whatever periodicity or whatever times that you check it, these will adjust. You'll find these charts change and you'll see different entries and you'll be moving your lines around. Okay, so nothing here. Swiss yen. Let's move this guy up to a breakout to the north. And there's potential there for about, I don't know, 35 pips. And here's a wide river. Here's a pretty wide river right here. From bank to bank, you got 144 pips. So we'll leave that breakout there, and we'll leave the breakout long there, and we'll turn this pair on to activate. Swiss yen. All right, Euro Aussie. Let's shorten this up a little bit. Oh. All right, we have potential here of 171 pips. So, and we have potential here going north, 78 pips. So, let's move this let's move this down to here for a breakout north, and we'll leave this here for a breakout south. And we'll see what it gives us. Euro Aussie. Now remember, folks, you need to go in there if a trade is tripped on a breakout, you need to go back and set your take profits and your stop losses if you're going to use them. All right. Here is it's not worth getting into. It's not that's almost like a little stream, but we can move it up. There's a wide river right there. 249 pips. What did I do here? Let's see. Try to make sure we get these lines horizontal as best we can. So price comes up and penetrates these two buy zones. Nothing holding it down. We could be in for 134 pips. Well, like I said before, I have been trading this way manually for about 10 months now, and there are some times where you have to fight with these and use some. This is really where I really honed in my rescue techniques. But for the most part, these things take care of themselves. Let's see here. So we're going to enter up here, and price comes back down. That's 70. Yeah, we'll move this up. For a breakout going south. Now, the majority of my trade, I would say at least 50% of my trades on this are breakouts. Obviously, they're more common than the new moons or the steps. Okay, Aussie CAD, turn that baby on. Euro Swiss. I gotta go in here and refresh this Indy. Okay. Well, you can see this was this new moon entry, wherever it went in at, got up to its 50%, 9,900 pips, depending on where you got in at. Let's see. There's a nice setup to the south here. So we'll set that up, and really, we're just going to move this long entry out of the way because there's nothing really until we get this price gets up this high. So we got some time on that. So we'll turn on the Euro Swiss. And remember, another trick in my up my sleeve here. If there's nothing really above and you really want to looking to take a short, remember on the dashboard, you can toggle these buttons here and take a buy only or a sell only. All right. Euro pound. How much do we got here? 30 pips. Nah, it's not. It's a little crick. I'm not gonna worry about a little crick. And nothing really here right now. Pound yen. We'll move on. Or pound, euro pound. Excuse me. Euro yen. Let me straighten this out a little bit. Wow. We'll just throw this up out of the way for right now. There's nothing long. And there's really nothing short here right now. And you can see right here again. Let's map this out real quick. See how wide our river was. Again, we missed this, but if you were there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there. I don't know. We don't know for sure, but let's just say on the fourth candle, you were in for, wow, 103 pips, and you can see it got there. That was a nice trade. So nothing really here at this moment in time. Euro NAS. We're in this trade right here, and got in it earlier today, this morning at the webinar. And I think this was one of Brian's goals, because it was price was just at or just above the 25% zone, and I think Brian made the call, said let's do it, so we did it. So if this fails, it's Brian's fault. All right, Euro NAS. Euro US. I'll go back later and refresh all these. Like I said, once you refresh this casino SUP DEM, it stays refreshed. And I think we are well out of the 50% zone for our entry here. Yep, missed that 1, 2, 3, 4 many candles ago, but you can see it's pushing up towards the 50%. So we can look for now what we can do here is, if this paints another buy zone, that would be a step entry, because we've already had actually, because your price came down, the new moon entry, and then this would be the first step. Take a step entry, but I don't know how much it would be worth, because remember, our step entry is still looking at the 50% move. We'll have to look at that later, but nothing there right now. And just move this out of the way. All right. Euro US, moving along. Your pound Aussie. Kind of narrow streams here. We'll move this up to this wide river up here for a breakout long, and I think we're having it right now. Yeah, that's really, yeah, that's worth it. That's 111 pips. Oh. We'll take that to the south. Price gets there. Until then, we will just sit on this. Pound Aussie now, we're looking at the Pound CAD. Lots of pressure to buy, not too much pressure to sell. So we will look for a breakout. A nice wide river here. 451 pips. We'll take half of that. I can worry about this right now. This is all, yeah, little streams. Again, here was a breakout. And definitely went 50% for about 68 pips. We could put a breakout here going north, 99 pips. Well, you know what? Let's do that. You notice I try to put the breakout lines just a little bit above the buy or sell zones, just to get a little confirmation there. Just want to make sure we don't have a head fake. So the pound CAD, we will turn that puppy on for a buy only. And pound Swiss was one we took earlier. It got up 25%, and it's retraced. Again, we'll just let this thing cook, but it is in for a potential 129, 130 pips. All right, pound yen. Go ahead and move this up, and here's another one. Got in somewhere around here, and it's definitely 50%, 147 pips. See, you can see these new moons. We haven't come across a new moon yet that hasn't made its target, 50%. Good stuff. All right, let's. What is this? It's 110 pips. We'll take 50. See what that does. We'll turn on the pound yen. Either way. Pound NAS. Oh. We're going to take that for a short only. Turn that on, looking for a short. So you can see here with the breakout, I was explaining this morning with our folks that with this manual system, you don't have to be there at every new 4-hour candle. We have to sleep at night. So you can see here, you get enough setups you're gonna have enough trades. Trust me, when you go through your charts during the daylight hours, whatever that is for you, you'll have enough setups, enough trades to more and satisfy your appetite for that day. So I check these probably 3-4 times a day. All right, pound US. There was a nice step right there. That would have, yeah, probably would have got in there twice. And we got a lot of, we'll move this up till we get a little bit wider of a berth of a river. And what is this right here? Yeah, we don't worry about that. Leave this alone. We'll see what happens next time I check. NASCAD, almost done, guys. Almost done. This is just talking with Brian about fishing this morning. This is kind of like fishing. You're putting the bait on the hooks, dropping them in the right spots, and you just kick back and wait. Just getting them all set up. That's where it takes time. Boy, there's lots of pressure for. We're just going to throw this down here. Not worry about it now. Lots of pressure for buys. So, what is this right here? It's probably not enough. Yeah, We'll wait till it breaks this this second buy zone here, or sell zone, and take it north. So we'll turn that on as CAD for a buy only. And it's also, you know, turning this on buy or sell, it also gives you a quick reference to what you're looking to do without opening the chart. NAS Swiss. Nothing there. Here's one that got you 50%. Yeah, we're gonna let this clear out. Let the price come in here and clear some of this muck out here and give us some wider opportunities, wider rivers. NAS Swiss. All right, NAS Yen. Oh, I keep on forgetting to. All right. I'll throw this up temporarily here. We had this was a price coming down. This was a step up, step entry. And let's see here if that even was viable, because we don't want to get into a step past our 50% zone, and which we would have. So yeah, and this, it's important here. So here was your new moon entry right here. Definitely got up for your 50%, wherever your entry was. All right, 100 pips, depending on where this was painted and when you caught it. But you can see here, it got up to the 75% movement of the river here, and yeah, you just don't know anything above 50%. You don't know, so I would not recommend taking that step entry right there. But just wait. Plenty of opportunity here. So what you could do, let's go ahead and put a sell breakout for right here, and we'll turn that on for sell only. Okay, yeah, NAS US. Oh, that's kind of nice right there. How much? Ooh, it's a nice. It's almost like as wide as the Mississippi. Oh, don't want to do that. Let's scale this out. 262 pips. Yeah, that's nice. So we'll leave this this sell breakout here, and we'll move this buy breakout line up here above at the bank of the Mississippi right there. And we'll turn them both on. We'll just turn it up here on NAS US. Now we're gonna look at this real quick. You know, right now, I mean, you're looking at maybe it could be 3, 4, 5 a week before a price gets down this far or up this high. You never know, but hey, that's one in that's a fishing line, a hook baited and in the water with the bobber, and we're just waiting. All right, US CAD, 3 more to look at, guys. Oh, gotta go grab this line here. Oh. I don't know why it's doing that. All right. All right, so we're going to, there's some nice pippage there. Look for a breakout long, and Here's a nice trade to see if that would have this new move. So again, price coming up from a buy zone, a new sell zone. Let's see if price was, if it painted within our 3-6 candles. Again, we don't know for sure when this painted, but here's 1, 2, 3, possibly. And that was easily 38, 40 pips. But you missed that. That's history. Let's look into the future here. We'll move this down for a breakout to the south. All right. Couple more. It was CAD US. And US Swiss was one that we already had set up. As you can see here. Now this one here, I placed this. There's nothing underneath this. So the price breaks these fractals. It could go for a while. So that's already set up. And then the last one is US yen. And of course, if you get a buy, a new moon buy, that would be good going south. But if it's a step sell, I'm sorry, a new moon sell, that's a good one going south. But if you get a new moon, it wouldn't be a new moon, it'd be a step sell, a step buy. Again, you can just eyeball this and see you're already past your 50%. So we will look for a breakout to the north. Right here. It's a nice wide river. And nothing really to the south here. So we'll just throw this out of the way right now. And we're looking for a new moon going south, or a breakout to the north there. And we'll turn that on, and we'll turn this on for a buy only for right now. So there you have it. I don't know, probably took half an hour or so. If I wasn't explaining this and illustrating things, I could go through here in about 10-15 minutes. So that is it, and this is what I do on a 2 to 3 times a day. So that will be it for now. Tomorrow I will do another recording going through charts and updating the progress here. And just so you know that I'm doing this just to teach you and to give you the idea of my manual trading. And this is just demo now, but I did say that when I start the challenge, the man versus machine challenge, it will be on a live account. All right. So you guys having a good day, and we'll talk to you soon.